Come in. I've been waiting for you.
Yes, yes,
Kofi, with the sun-baked skin of 1,000 dawns and the calloused hands of a lifetime spent battling the ocean, cast his net into the gentle waves of Kokobite Beach. His patched-up canoe, Adowa, bobbed rhythmically, a faithful companion in his relentless pursuit of a meager living. Today, however, the ocean seemed to offer more than just fish. He spotted a figure huddled by a cluster of rocks, her clothes tattered and her hair the color of wet obsidian matted with sand. She looked utterly forlorn, a stark contrast to the vibrant hues of the fishing village. Kofi, though poor himself, possessed a heart richer than any gold. He steered Ottawa closer, his brow furrowed with concern. "Are you all right, sister?" he called out, his voice a warm baritone against the ocean's whisper. The girl startled, her eyes, the color of the deep sea, wide with a mixture of fear and something else, something ancient and mysterious. She clutched a worn cowrie shell necklace, her only visible possession, to her chest. Her name, she finally whispered, was Nakai. She spoke with an accent Kofi couldn't place, a lyrical lilt that hinted at a world beyond their simple village. He offered her a share of his day's catch, a small tilapia, and a piece of roasted plantain. Nakai, her hunger evident, accepted with a shy gratitude that touched Kofi's soul. He didn't know then, as he watched her eat, that this seemingly destitute girl carried a secret that would shake his world, and eventually an entire nation. Her simple, dirt-stained wrapper and bare feet gave no hint of the royal lineage that flowed through her veins, a lineage of the ocean's most powerful, the merfolk of legend. He only saw a girl in need, a fragile bloom washed ashore by the relentless tide of life. He helped her to a small, run-down hut, its walls woven from palm fronds, offering her the only shelter he had.
Come in. I've been waiting for you.
yes, yes,
Naikai settled into Kofi's humble life with a quiet grace that surprised him. She was an enigma. She never spoke of her past, and her knowledge of the world seemed both vast and oddly limited. She'd marvel at the simplest things, like the warmth of a cooking fire or the taste of fresh water from the village well, as if experiencing them for the first time. Yet there was an undeniable wisdom in her gaze, a depth that hinted at untold stories. Kofi, meanwhile, found himself increasingly drawn to her. Her presence, though silent, filled his small hut with a light he hadn't realized was missing. He taught her how to mend nets, how to distinguish different types of fish, and the names of the constellations that glittered above their village each night. She, in turn, showed him a different kind of strength, a resilience born of unspoken trials. One evening, as they sat by the flickering lamplight, Naikai began to hum a melody, ethereal and haunting, unlike any Kofi had ever heard. It spoke of deep currents, of coral gardens, and of a loneliness that echoed in his own heart. He asked her where she learned such a song, but she merely smiled, a fleeting, enigmatic expression that left him with more questions than answers. He found himself working harder, dreaming bigger, fueled by an unspoken desire to provide a better life for Naikai, a life far removed from the poverty that clung to them like the salty air. He imagined a future where they could escape the relentless cycle of subsistence, where Naikai's eyes would always hold that mysterious, beautiful spark. He never suspected that the true nature of her wealth lay not in earthly possessions, but in the very essence of her being.
Life in the fishing village, though simple, was rarely private. Whispers followed Nakai wherever she went. Her unusual beauty, her inexplicable knowledge of the sea's moods, and her sudden appearance had the village elders murmuring about spirits and ancient legends. Kofi, fiercely protective, dismissed their superstitions, attributing Nakai's uniqueness to her being a stranger from a distant land. Yet, Even he couldn't deny the strange occurrences that sometimes surrounded her. Fish seemed to leap into his nets whenever Nakai accompanied him, and the fiercest storm seemed to calm at her silent command. One particularly sweltering afternoon, while drawing water from the communal well, Nakai accidentally dropped her cowrie shell necklace. As it hit the water, the well, usually still and murky, shimmered with an iridescent light, and a chorus of faint, beautiful voices seemed to emanate from its depths. The villagers present gasped, crossing themselves and muttering prayers. Nakai, her face paling, quickly retrieved the necklace, the light and voices vanishing as swiftly as they had appeared. She looked at Kofi, a silent plea in her eyes, begging him not to question what he had witnessed. He, in turn, pretended not to have seen anything, though the memory of the shimmering well and the ethereal singing was seared into his mind. He was beginning to realize that Nakai was more than just a poor girl. She was something extraordinary, something magical. He also knew instinctively that her secret, whatever it was both a gift and a burden. He found himself falling deeper in love with this mysterious woman, a love that transcended the bounds of their impoverished reality.
The day of the annual Ancestors Festival arrived, a vibrant celebration where the villagers honored their heritage with music, dance, and offerings to the sea. Nayaki, usually reserved, seemed particularly drawn to the ocean that day, her gaze distant and longing. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, painting the sky in fiery hues of orange and purple, a sudden, powerful rogue wave crashed onto the shore, pulling several small children caught playing near the water into its treacherous grasp. Panic erupted. Without a moment's hesitation, Nayaki plunged into the churning water. Kofi, a strong swimmer, followed, but what he witnessed next defied all logic. As Nayaki dove, her legs, in a shimmering flash of scales, transformed into a magnificent iridescent tail. She moved through the water with impossible speed and grace, her hair fanning out like a dark halo. She rescued the children one by one, bringing them safely back to shore before the villagers, stunned into silence, could fully comprehend what they had seen. Her secret was out. Her beautiful, scandalous truth was laid bare for all to witness. The gasps turned to fearful whispers, then to outright accusations of witchcraft. Nayaki, her mermaid form now hidden beneath her tattered wrapper, stood trembling, her eyes fixed on Kofi. He, however, felt no fear, only a profound awe and an even deeper surge of love. He knew then that his life and the destiny of Nayaki was about to change irrevocably. The beach, once a place of mundane toil, had become the stage for a miraculous revelation.
The village was abuzz with Nakai's revelation. Fear mingled with wonder, and the elders, torn between ancient superstitions and the undeniable heroism she displayed, struggled to decide her fate. Kofi, however, stood firm. He defended Nakai against the accusations, proclaiming his love and loyalty. He saw not a monster, but a woman of immense power and an even greater heart. News of the mermaid woman eventually reached the ears of a wealthy, influential, and notoriously ruthless businessman, Mr. Mensa, who was vacationing at a luxury resort further down the coast. Mensa, a man who saw opportunity in everything, immediately recognized the immense potential in Nakai's unique existence. He envisioned a future where he could leverage her mystique, her connection to the sea, for political gain. He saw her as a symbol, a captivating figure who could sway the hearts and minds of the Ghanaian people. He arrived at their humble village in a gleaming, expensive car, an entourage of sharp-suited men in tow, a stark contrast to their poverty-stricken surroundings. He made Kofi an offer: marry Nakai,
present her to the nation as a benevolent sea goddess, a bringer of prosperity, and he would bankroll Kofi's political career, ensuring his rise to power. Kofi, though initially repulsed by the blatant manipulation, saw a chance to protect Nakai, to elevate her from the prejudice of the village, and to fulfill his unspoken desire for a better life, not just for them, but for their entire community. He knew it was a scandalous bargain, a deal with the devil, but the promise of a brighter future for Nakai outweighed his moral reservations.
The transformation was swift and dramatic. Under Mr. Mentz's shrewd guidance, Kofi, once a humble fisherman, was rebranded as a charismatic leader, a man chosen by the sea itself, destined to guide Ghana to prosperity. Nakai, with her ethereal beauty and undeniable aura, became his mystical muse, the daughter of the ocean, whose presence guaranteed good fortune. Mr. Mensah orchestrated lavish public appearances, carefully curated to highlight Nakai's connection to the sea, without ever explicitly revealing her true nature. She wore flowing, custom-made gowns in shades of blue and green, adorned with subtle shell motifs designed to evoke her origins. Her once tattered cowrie shell necklace became a cherished national symbol. Kofi's political rallies were no longer held in dusty village squares, but in grand stadiums filled with eager crowds chanting his name. He spoke of progress, of harnessing Ghana's natural resources, and of a future where every Ghanaian would thrive, subtly linking these promises to Nakai's perceived blessings. The media, captivated by the romantic narrative of the fisherman and the mysterious sea woman, fanned the flames of public fascination. Kofi, despite his humble beginnings, possessed an innate intelligence and a genuine desire to uplift his people, qualities that, combined with Mentz's machinations and Nakai's enigmatic charm, made him an unstoppable force. He knew he was playing a dangerous game, walking a tightrope between truth and elaborate fiction. But with each successful rally, with each surge of public adoration, his ambition grew, solidifying his resolve to achieve the ultimate prize, the presidency. Nakai, though often silent, played her part perfectly, her serene presence a calming balm to the fervent crowds.
The election was a landslide. Kofi, the former fisherman, became the president of Ghana. Nakai, the poor girl from the beach, was now the first lady, her incredible journey a modern-day fairy tale that captivated the world. Their inauguration was a spectacle of national pride and international intrigue. Nakai, resplendent in a gown the color of the deep ocean, stood beside Kofi, a vision of regal grace. The cowrie shell necklace, now embellished with precious gems, sparkled around her neck, a constant reminder of her hidden past. However, beneath the opulent facade of power, cracks began to show. Kofi found himself increasingly entangled in Mr. Mentz's web of influence, making decisions that, while seemingly beneficial, served Mentz's own vast interests. The weight of his promises, the burden of leadership, and the constant threat of Nakai's true identity being exposed began to take its toll. Nakai, despite her exalted position, felt increasingly isolated. The bustling presidential palace, with its endless protocols and political maneuvering, was a stark contrast to the simple, honest life she had shared with Kofi by the sea. She longed for the freedom of the ocean, for the feel of cool water against her skin, a craving that became more intense with each passing day. The scandalous secret of her true nature, once a tool for their ascent, now became a heavy chain, binding her to a life she hadn't truly chosen. She often found herself gazing at the presidential swimming pool, a silent yearning in her eyes, a longing for the vast open expanse of the ocean.
One sweltering afternoon, during a critical diplomatic summit at the presidential palace, a power outage plunged the entire building into darkness. Amidst the chaos, a desperate cry for help echoed from the palace's opulent indoor swimming pool. A foreign dignitary, startled by the sudden darkness, had fallen in and was struggling. Without a second thought, Naakai, in a daring act of heroism that would cement her legacy, plunged into the water. In the momentary darkness, unseen by most, her legs transformed into her magnificent tail. She swiftly rescued the dignitary, her strength and agility astonishing. As the lights flickered back on, Naakai was already back on solid ground, her secret almost revealed, but ultimately safe. The incident, quickly spun by Mr. Mensah's PR machine, was hailed as an act of selfless bravery by the First Lady, further solidifying her mythical status. Kofi, now a seasoned president, began to slowly extricate himself from Mensah's control, using his acquired power and influence to truly serve his people. He initiated policies that empowered local communities, developed sustainable fishing practices, and protected Ghana's marine ecosystems, fulfilling the promises he had made not as a politician, but as a man who loved the sea and the woman who embodied it. Naakai, though forever bound to her human form as First Lady, found solace in establishing marine conservation projects and championing clean water initiatives across Ghana. She used her platform to protect the very realm from which she came, ensuring that the magic of the ocean would endure for generations to come. Though the scandal of her true identity remained a secret, a quiet understanding passed between her and Kofi. He had achieved his goal, becoming president, and she, the poor girl from the beach, had indeed become the First Lady. But more importantly, she had found a way to honor her heritage, weaving the magic of the sea into the very fabric of the nation. Their scandalous journey, born of hidden truths and ambitious desires, culminated in a legacy of genuine progress and an enduring love story that defied all expectations. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing stories.